Hello, everybody. Welcome to my brand new YouTube live stream. This is kind of the first time I've ever done, well, it's not the first time I've done live streams. I've done lots of live streams, but I've never done any specifically on my brand new YouTube channel, the Epic Marvel Podcast channel. So this is kind of exciting. I'm going to show off a bunch of books that I've bought in the last little while. This is stuff that I've picked up or had pre-ordered or found in thrift stores and, all this kind of stuff. So what I'm going to do is there are epic collections that I'm going to show off. There are some other books that aren't epic collections that I just find interesting myself, and hopefully you will too. You can check out, you can leave a comment in the comment window there, and I'll try and address your comments there. I see Phil is here saying, congratulations on your first YouTube live stream. Thanks, Phil. I appreciate that. It's good to see you. Phil is kind of he likes tuning in when I show off these things here. Okay, so I'm in Canada, and one of the places I get my books is Indigo. I pre-order my epic collections there. I have since the pandemic, because the usual bookstore where I go, they were having issues with ordering, of course, because of everything that was going on. So I turned to Indigo, pre-ordered a bunch of stuff with their special sale where it was buy two, get one free. And then stuff happened. They started canceling some orders and such. And eventually it got to the point where it would be available online, but they haven't shipped my pre-orders. So I've been waiting. I was waiting for this X-Men Epic collection, and it just wouldn't come. And I'm looking on the website and it says, buy it online now. And I'm like, how can you buy it online now? The pre-order, I don't have my copy yet. So I sent them a message, and they said, we're so sorry about that. We'll send you one out right now. And they sent it to me, and free of charge. And then I canceled my other order, my standing pre-order. So I got 3 Epic collections for free because they kept on making it available online, and I kept complaining, and then they just sent them to me. So that's very cool. When I buy these epic collections, I usually top it off with a book of Archie's. They have Archie Comics has these new line called Archie Comics Presents, and it collects a nice sample of Archie Comics from the different books, like this one specifically from the title called Life with Archie, which ran in the 50s and 60s, probably, I think, a long time, but it's a good sampling of different eras. This one, Archie at Riverdale High, Betty and Veronica Spectacular. These are really, really cool little books. They're larger than the regular Archie digest size, but they're nice and full color, and this is the era that I love of Archie, is the kind of the 50s, 60s, 70s stuff. When Archie still drives around in his jalopy and such. But anyway, I bought some of these books, but I know you're here to look at these epics. So why don't we take a look at some of these ones? Silver Surfer. This one is volume 9. It's called Resurrection. This is an era of Silver Surfer through in the 90s, when Ron Mars was writing and when Ron Lim was drawing. Ron and Ron. And there's some very, very cool stuff in here. It kind of skips forward. The epic collections that have already been released are volumes 6 and 7, and then they skip ahead to this volume 9, and that's too bad, because I was really looking forward to the volume 8, which had the big story, and that one's called The Herald Ordeal, and that kind of puts Nebula in a new position in the comics, and it's what the design of the movie Nebula is based off of, is that story. But we got this one here, which is great because I haven't read any of this material. And there is also a 4-issue miniseries in here called Silver Surfer Warlock Resurrection, which is by Jim Starlin. So that's always good, because Jim Starlin is an excellent Silver Surfer writer. In case you didn't know, there have been some printing issues with this book. It seems like there's probably one signature. How books are printed is they print like 18 pages on one giant sheet of paper, and then they fold it all up until it's a book. And so it seems like one of these signatures, where it has a whole bunch of pages on it, the black ink didn't get printed on that one page, and it went through the printer. And so there's a bunch of books out there where every other page is missing its black ink because of the way that printing worked. Now, my copy, thankfully, is okay, but I'll show you. Let's see if I can remember what pages it's on. Around 300, the 380s. In particular, people like to see this splash page here on page. Oh, there's no page numbers at the bottom of these pages. That's a mistake. But anyway, whatever this is, if you look at the copies where people have issues, this page is missing the black line. This page has the black line. So it looks kind of funny. So check your copy if you haven't already. And if you have a copy that has a mistake, I'd encourage you to send it back and try and get a replacement. It seems to me, from what I've seen, that the bad batch mostly went to the direct market, like to in-stock trades and to some comic book stores. But if you go online to some book market retail outlets like Amazon, then you should probably be okay. Seems like overseas and international markets like Canada and such, all of their copies seem to be okay as well. So that's that. One of the other books I got was the newest Iron Man. This takes Iron Man into the 70s, 1970 to 1972. The 70s is a period of Marvel that I just never have read, really, because I got into it in the mid 80s, and the things that got reprinted was always the 60s, and so then I never, there's this big gap from like 1970 to 1980. 3 or 4 that I just have not touched. So all of this is kind of cool new material, stuff from Archie Goodwin, Jerry Conway, Don Heck, George Tuska. You can see guest stars from people like Daredevil. I think this is going to be a lot of fun. I do love the writing in the 70s because it took the quality of the 1960s and like the great one-issue storytelling that I loved about the 1960s, but it smooths it out a little bit and gets rid of a lot of the overbearing narrative that kind of bogs down a lot of the 1960s issues and really kind of streamlines it a little bit without getting bogged down also with continuity, which is what happens later on with Marvel. So that's a cool book, and I hope that you all will check that one out too. That's volume 4. And then, yes, X-Men Epic Collections. This one is a lot of fun too. This is the classic Chris Claremont and John Byrne stuff. If you haven't, you must be living under a rock if you haven't read any of this stuff, at least 1 or 2 issues. I know that I haven't read the entire thing, but I'm certainly well familiar with many of the issues in this book here, and I'm excited. This is the first time that I've bought all of these stories in a collected edition, so it's very, very exciting to me. Thankfully, there are no real printing issues that we know about with this one. It is a great epic collection with the standard that they've been putting out lately. Let's see here, some comments. Rick Lightburn says that Silver Surfer Omni had some issues too. Yeah, that's right, and that was the reprint of the omnibus that collects the Stan Lee and John Buscema stuff, right? I don't know exactly what the issues are because I don't really follow a lot of the stuff about the Omnis, but yeah, I heard that there were some printing issues there, which is kind of disappointing. A lot of people were really waiting for that reprint of that Omni. So that's quite unfortunate. Okay, some other stuff here. I recently bought a whole bunch of 2001 Space Odyssey comics, and this is a title that won't be collected anytime soon because of the licensing issues surrounding the movie. Even though this is new material, these aren't adaptations of the movie. Jack Kirby took the concept of the movie, and each issue explored some of the ways that the monolith and everything kind of worked in different points in history. It's a very, very cool title. I didn't have number 1, but then one of the members in the group, in the Facebook group that we're part of, John Delrose, he bought all of them off of eBay, and accidentally, when he was opening it, put a slice through the cover. And he's like, "It's worthless now. Do you want it?" And I said, "Sure, I'll take it." So he mailed it over to me. So I thank him for that. Very nice gift. Part of the collection. So I'm only missing a couple of those issues now. The other day, this is exciting for me. I don't know how many people out there care about this, but I care about this. I found comics in a thrift store I love going to thrift stores. Most of my books back here are actually found at thrift stores. You can find them at for just for a couple of bucks or so, and it's fantastic because people are always moving and they need to get rid of stuff, so they just take it to the thrift store, or their mom has a whole bunch of stuff that their son has moved out and she wants to get rid of it, so she just takes it all to the thrift store and she doesn't realize what it is. I get so much stuff from the thrift store, and I found these Johnny Quest comics. Who knows this show from the 60s? And there's another version in the 80s and another version in the 90s, but this comic came out in the 80s and it is great. I love it. Just little short stories starring the Johnny Quest characters, and they had, out of the series ran for 31 issues, and they had 20. Somebody had just dumped their collection there. They have 20 of these comics in the thrift store just for $1 a piece. And so I'm like, yeah, man, I'll take these. They're really, really great. They're all done by William Messner Loebs, who you might know from doing Flash and stuff. And he had a little run on Thor, which is in one of the Epic collections. Some of these issues are drawn by Doug Wildley, which is very, very cool. So very awesome that I got a whole ton of Johnny Quest comics. Again, something that's not going to be collected because of licensing issues. Very, very cool stuff from a small publisher, an independent publisher in the 80s called Comico. Let's see. And then I've been buying Star Wars epics. I have been on the hunt for... I've bought all of the Marvel ones. I'm totally on board for Marvel, but just recently I've decided, you know what, I should probably get the Star Wars ones too, because I want to know more about the Star Wars Epic collections for my YouTube channel, just to be more knowledgeable. So you can kind of see them up here on my shelf. I've been buying a whole bunch of them. Star Wars Infinities is one of these books that just recently went out of print and has been commanding high prices online. And so what I've found is there's a local comic shop that the reason why it's out of print is because Marvel liquidated a whole bunch of their Star Wars epics. I think they overprinted their original Star Wars epics. They printed way more than they thought that they would sell. And so they had them sitting in a warehouse. So they sold them all at a huge discount to comic book shops. And that was a year ago. Now they're all of those books are mostly out of print, because they sold off all those copies for super cheap, and they're going for high prices now. And Infinities was one of these ones that I couldn't find online for a decent price. So I went to my comic book store and said, hey, do you still have any more of those cheap Star Wars comics that you bought when they were really, really cheap? And he said, yeah, I do. I can sell you this one for $13. And so I went to the store to buy it for $13. And I ended up actually getting it for free because they have an ongoing sale there. Buy 3 graphic novels and get 1 for free. The cheapest one, of course. So I bought 3 others, and this one ended up being free. So that's really, really nice. This book, if you haven't seen it already, very cool, because it is it's like a what if for Star Wars. They take a little concept, a little thing about each of the main Star Wars movies and tweak it, and they say, if that happened, what would the outcome be? So let's see. The questions are: how would A New Hope have gone if Luke Skywalker missed the target in his attack on the Death Star? And then also, what would have become of the Rebel Alliance if Luke perished in the icy wastelands of Hoth during the Empire Strikes Back? And then lastly, what if Return of the Jedi's rescue of Han Solo had gone wrong? So very cool stuff. I have read this material before, and it's a lot of fun. Very, very fun. And what are the other 3 graphic novels that I picked up at the same time as that to get the deal? I also got Legacy Volume 3. And I don't know anything about this Legacy title, except I think this is a descendant of the Skywalkers. So that's really, really cool there. I also found this book, Corto Maltese, Fable of Venice. This is a series that I love. This adventurer, Corto Maltese, is he's a sailor, and he goes around all around the world to just go on adventure. A lot of it's like treasure hunting and such. And this volume I didn't get in time, and it went out of print, but the comic shop happened to have one there, so that's really cool. Able to add that to my collection there. And then I also bought a book called Batman versus Predator. It was a Dark Horse crossover collection, and I bought that for James, one of the members on the group, because I knew he was looking for it. So I mailed that off to him, and that was good. I also, another great deal for me here is that I found on Craigslist a guy who was selling a whole bunch of graphic novels for $10 each. And this is stuff that I've been looking for. I'm a big fan of Osamu Tezuka, who is a Japanese manga artist and creator, Astro Boy, that kind of thing. I've got a huge collection of his work, almost everything that he's done in English, but I've been looking for this hardcover version of Blackjack Volume 1. And this one, the hardcover is different from the softcover because they include a chapter in this book that is not in the softcovers because it's technically been, what's the word, banned. It's a banned story. There's a small handful that Tezuka himself has said, I don't want those reprinted anymore, but they got a few of them out for the hardcover versions of Blackjack. And I've been looking for this book for a long time. It goes for like $100 online, so I'm happy to have found that for 10. And then at the same time, the same seller had these 2 volumes of Torpedo. Have you seen this book? Torpedo is like a detective crime, a gangster book about gangsters in the 1930s. It's a European book and about New York in the 1930s, and it is really, really great. It's grim, it's gritty. The main character is not a nice person at all. He's just a despicable, kind of takes advantage of everybody, kind of a jerk. And it's a lot of fun though. I'll show you some of the insides. It's black and white all through, and some great work from Jordi Bernet. I don't exactly know how to pronounce his name there, but it's got shades of like Alex Toth, if you like Alex Toth. In fact, he did the first volume, Alex Toth, and then he stepped away from the project because he didn't like the material that was being written. It was not kind of his style, but very, very cool stuff. The stories are exciting. There's plenty of boobies in there as well, so you can, if that's your thing, you can get on board with that. These books are hard to find, so I got volume 2 and volume 3. Now I got to find the other ones because these are very, very awesome books. And then this is all like the stuff from the past few weeks. So it's not, it looks like it's a lot, but it's spread out a little bit. I went to a different comic book store because they also have more of these Star Wars collections that they bought for cheap because Marvel was liquidating them, and they're selling them for $20 a pop. So I went and got Star Wars Empire Volume 2, which, let's see, I like this era because it's actually the characters from the movies, Luke Skywalker and all of them. So this is Dark Times, the Dark Times series from Dark Horse, and Rebellion Volume 2, which is I think the Star Wars ongoing series from 2014, yeah, and a bunch of stuff from 2004. So there's some cool stuff in there, and then also Star Wars the newspaper strips, Volume 1. This was the one that I was not going to buy because I already have these collected in some really nice. I don't know if you can see them on my shelf here. Yeah, these ones right here from IDW. They've collected the Star Wars newspaper comic strips actually as they were printed in the newspapers. So like the Sundays are in color and the black and white dailies are in black and white as they originally were. The thing about this book here is that when Dark Horse decided to reprint this material, they decided to edit it to fit a comic book. So a lot of the panels are different sizes. Some of the art has been changed or added to or altered, and it's colored. It's all colored, so that's kind of nice. But some of it is just hard to read because you have to turn the book sideways in order to read some of these ones. And then later on in the book, yeah, when they start collecting some of these ones, it's like the dailies are in black and white, and they leave a lot of blank space here. And then you have to turn the book sideways to read that one. Not my preference, but the completist in me had to have it. Just $20 or whatever. It's okay. Okay, let's see. Some comments here. Cordova Maltese and Torpedo are great series. Yes, they really both are. They're quite excellent. is there any chance Marvel will collect Spider-Man: The Alien Costume Saga in epic format? Absolutely, they will, because that is all. Well, no, I shouldn't say they'll do part of it. They will include the Alien Costume Saga issues that were in Amazing Spider-Man and any relevant ones that tie into the Amazing Spider-Man story from Spectacular or such. But they won't reprint the whole thing. That's not, I think, how the epics. So if you're looking for the Alien Costume Saga trades, those 2 trades that came out a while back, they won't all be. It'll be different mapping. Okay. Perfect Edition Comics says, you need Star Wars Legacy so good. Yeah, I have all 3 of the volumes now, so I'm excited to dig into those. I gotta find some time to read all of this. I've kind of got a lot of Star Wars all at once. Luke says, more Star Wars. Kurtis, I'm proud of you for really diving into the dark horse Star Wars. I was so hesitant about it. I mean, I like Star Wars. I do. I really do. I love the movies. I like Mandalorian is fantastic. And I love the old Marvel comics. I bought these newspaper ones. I like those ones too. So why not give the Dark Horse ones a try, right? Might as well. The first 3 volumes, Ephraim Avaro says the first 3 volumes of the Empire line are one continuous story. Yeah, I have now Empire numbers 2, 3, and 4. I gotta find volume 1 because that one is starting to get a little pricey. Okay, a couple of things I got in the mail today. I haven't opened them up yet, so let's take a look here. I ordered this from Indigo, so we'll see what it looks like. Anybody guess? It's not an epic collection. It's one of my other big interests, Donald Duck. I don't know if you guys are aware, but this is one of the greatest comic books of all time, written by and drawn by Carl Barks. These are not just kids' stories. I mean, they're funny and stuff, but they are so much fun. They are just like, I don't know, they're fun adventure stories starring Donald Duck and Uncle Scrooge. And if you're writing it off just because you think it's funny Disney characters, then you are sorely missing out on some great storytelling and some just really, really fun stuff. This almost catches me up to date. I'm just missing 1 volume now out of the Carl Barks library. There's like 15 of them now, I think, or something. And out of a series that's going to be like 30 volumes long. So they're plugging along with a couple of these volumes. I think maybe actually about 4 volumes a year. And so they're really, really doing great work. Totally, I'm looking forward to reading this. I let my kids read them too, and they have a lot of fun reading those. Okay, last big box here. Let's see some more comments here. I just uploaded an overview of Life and Times of Scrooge on my channel today. Great minds think alike. Okay, I guess I'll give a plug to Perfect Edition Comics. I'll have to check out your video too. Life and Times of Scrooge is great. That's the Don Rosa story. If you haven't checked that out, you probably should. Arturo says, can you guess the next Spidey epics? Well, I can guess pretty certainly there's going to be 2, because there's always 2 Spidey epics, and one of them always goes in chronological order from the beginning, and the next volume in line is volume 6. So I'm going to guess that volume 6 is going to be the next Spider-Man epic, probably. And then on the other side, the more modern stuff, it could really be anything, because the last volumes, Assassination filled in a hole, Maximum Carnage jumped ahead a little bit. Yeah, I have no idea. I don't know where they'll go with that. Let's see, looking at my books up there, I would probably say the volume after Red Robin. That's going to be my guess. Round Robin, the volume after Round Robin. So we'll see if that is the case. Okay, where did I had a knife down here somewhere I was going to use to open this big box. I got a nice care package from somebody. I don't know if they want me to share their names, so I'm going to keep it anonymous. But came from the United States, and it took a long time to get here. And I found out that Customs opened up the box because they wanted to see what was inside it. So I'm hoping that they didn't do any damage to the books that are inside. They also found out what the value is and charged me tax, so I had to go and pay for that. So that's too bad. But oh yeah, look at this. So it's nicely packed. This guy knows how to pack books. So even if they open it up, it's okay. What is it going to be? Star Wars. Oh, wait a minute. Didn't I just get this? Whoops. Now I have 2 copies. I will have to thank him greatly for that. Whoa. Let's see what this is. Star Comics. I love Star Comics. This is just the Spider-Ham stuff, the what's the other one? Planetary, and then Top Dog. This is just great cartooning, great fun kids cartooning. If you love like Richie Rich and that kind of stuff, this is really, really fun. Spider-Man even guest stars in one of these issues. I'm super excited to read this. My kids will love this too. So yeah, there's Spider-Man on the back. I think it's even drawn by Romita, but I'm not positive on that, so don't quote me. Really, really cool. And then what is this one here? Spider-Man Spider-Verse. It looks like a collection of some Spider-Ham stories, some of the classic ones from the Peter Porker, the old Star Comics series, as well as looks like some newer stuff that includes Spider-Verse characters like Spider-Punk and Ghost Spider. So this is cool. Oh yeah, look at that. Looks like Ghost Spider has a Spider-Ham equivalent as well. This should be a lot of fun. Cool. Oh, wow. Oz, complete collection. This is fantastic. I love these stories. I read these when they first came out. They're so excellent. It's great retelling of the classic Wizard of Oz stories. This book in particular has Ozma of Oz and Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz. And all drawn and written by Eric Shanower, who, if you don't know who he is, he has been a champion of the Oz books for decades, constantly putting out new material, writing new stories, adapting old work. So he's adapted them to comics here, and they're all illustrated by Scotty Young. So if you haven't seen these, really, really, really fun, excellent cartooning, great adaptations of these books. That's really cool. It's a smaller size. These 2 books, Top Cat is standard comic size, but these ones are a little bit smaller. Marvel has been putting out these smaller ones because they want to try and get more into the book market, like schools and such. They, Dogman and Smile and those all ages graphic novels, they're smaller size because they fit on library shelves and in classroom shelves a lot better, and they're just a little cheaper to produce. So I think Marvel's trying to tap into that market as well. So that's cool. Some more Marvelverse books. Marvelverse, Captain America. Looks like some classic issues of Captain America right there. Captain America number 100, as well as some more modern stuff. I guess just giving a little bit of his origins. That's very, very cool. Captain America, Fighting Avenger, and Marvel Team Up number 13, and Captain America number 102.55. So that's kind of cool. Love it. Immortal Hulk. Hulk is Hulk. Have you not read this series? Because this is one of the best series that Marvel is currently putting out right now. I can't believe where this book goes. If you don't know the concept, it's now the Immortal Hulk because Bruce Banner has found out that he can't die. Every time that the Hulk dies, he comes back to life when he reverts back to Bruce Banner. So if Bruce Banner dies, he comes back to life when he reverts to the Hulk. Or, it's just a bizarre concept, but it works so well, and the storytelling is great, and it's just so bizarre. Really, really strange, but great concepts. Very unique. This is unlike anything that you will read in comics, in Marvel Comics. It's very, very original. So definitely check that out. West Coast Avengers Epic Collection, Volume 3. This is really great. I have not read any of the material in West Coast Avengers, but I like this era because it has Moon Knight on the team, and I've become a big Moon Knight fan. Scarlet Witch and Vision also joined the team here. So this is still Steve Englehart's run. He does, I think he stays on for a couple. This might actually be toward the end of his run because the next volume will be John Byrne's stuff. But this is, let's see, what is this? West Coast Avengers number 25 to 37 and annual number 2, as well as Avengers annual 16. They often crossed over at the time. And in fact, I think that's one of the ones where they play baseball together. Yeah. The East Coast and the West Coast teams get together for a baseball match on a regular basis in the early Avengers annuals. And it also has this Emperor Doom graphic novel, which is also included in the epic collection called Avengers Judgment Day. In fact, Judgment Day also has the 2-part annual story. So I think that the first 150 pages is double dipping. All of that right there is all double dipping from another epic collection. But the rest of it's good. We have lots of Hawkeye and Mockingbird, lots of Tigra, Iron Man in his Silver Centurion costume, and of course, Moon Knight. Very cool stuff. That might be it. Oh no, there's a couple more things in here. Star Wars Empire number 6. Continuing the Empire storyline. I like this cover. I don't know who this guy is here, but you see Han and Chewie in the background, so that's really cool. And I'm going to be very excited to read a lot of these stories. It includes Agent of the Empire, a bunch of the Agent of the Empire miniseries. It looks like Iron Eclipse, Hard Targets, as well as The Force Unleashed and The Force Unleashed number 2. It looks like Boba Fett's going to be in this one as well. So that's very, very awesome. There we go. Oh, one more thing, I think. Heroes Reborn Avengers. Look at that. Oh, I was wondering about these new trades because this here has... they've reissued these titles. You know, these were reprinted way back like 10 or 12 years ago, but these are new editions. They're thicker. They've added more issues. They've added the crossover that happens with issue number 12. In fact, they reissued Heroes Reborn Captain America and Heroes Reborn Iron Man. Those are coming out in the next month or so as well. If they're not out already, I don't remember. But they're also including the 12-part crossover. So all of them, if you buy all of them, you'll have that 12-part, they issue 12 crossover like 4 times. For some reason, though, they didn't reprint, or they only did a straight reprint of the Heroes Reborn Fantastic Four volume. They didn't do a new edition. I'm not exactly sure why, so that's kind of weird. Okay, let's see here. That's almost it for me. Let's see if we have any new questions here. Hey, beautiful people. Epic reading from Germany. Nice to see you, Germany. Kenny says, I see you have Sin City by Frank Miller. Can't tell us the hardcover or trade paperback. Yeah, those ones are the trades. I liked it because it had the connecting spine. I am a sucker for connecting spines. Yeah. It is the soft cover version. It's a great story. Really enjoy that one. Ryan says, which store has that buy 3 and get 1 free? That would be Big Pete's Comics and Collectibles in North Vancouver. They kind of have just an ongoing sale. It's always there. If you buy 3 of them, they'll throw in the cheapest. They'll throw in a 4th, and the cheapest one out of the 4 will be the free one. And I got these other 2 books yesterday because this other comic shop that's near me called Golden Age Collectibles is clearing out some of their back stock, and they have a buy 2 for $20 deal. So I got Guardians of the Galaxy by Jim Valentino, Volume 3, and I got New X-Men Ultimate Collection Volume 3. These are both finishing up some runs for me with the New X-Men and with Guardians by Jim Valentino, so that's kind of cool. They had a whole selection of them, and I took some pictures of the shelves, and I'll post them to my Facebook group, the Epic Collection group, so that if you are in the Vancouver area, you can take part in that sale as well, because it's good stuff. In fact, they had, I think, all of the Age of Apocalypse thick trays were there for 2 for $20, as well as, I don't know, a bunch of Deadpool and whatever. Noah says, what's the Avengers West Coast double dip with? It is, let's see if I can reach it with my headphones still attached. This one, Avengers. This is the cover to Emperor Doom, the graphic novel. So the Emperor Doom and the crossover. Let me just double check, make sure I'm saying that right here. Yes, Avengers Annual 16 and West Coast Avengers Annual 2 are in this book, and they are also in this book. That's 150 pages of double dip, but it's because the two teams come together for those two stories. So they kind of had to include both of them, I guess. They didn't really have to include the Judgment Day graphic novel, but in the West Coast Avengers, but they did anyway. That's it. That's my video for today. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. It was a lot of fun going through all of these books and looking at them. I want to do stuff like this on a regular basis. So if this is something that interests you, let me know. If it's something that you'd like me to do differently, or you have some suggestions on how to improve it or make it better, then I'm all ears. I'm new to this. I don't know what I'm doing. I am open to suggestions. So leave a comment or let me know about, let me know through an email, or I don't know, join my Facebook group, listen to my podcast, and follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at epicmarvelpodcast.com. So I got to go pick up my kids from school. So I'm going to leave you with that. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. And I had a great time chatting with all of you. And we'll make sure that we do it again sometime soon. Bye.